What if I told you human beings are not supposed to survive infancy at all? A human baby is born so helpless that in any natural environment, it should not survive. No walking, no feeding, no protection, no survival ability at all. Just pure biological vulnerability. And yet, this weakness is exactly what allowed humans to take over the entire planet. So the real mystery is not how humans became strong, but why we were born so weak in the first place. And the answer reveals something unexpected about evolution, intelligence, and even modern human behavior. Glow Showing Europe Africa Part 1. A world designed against human survival. Go back 100,000 years. There are no cities, no medicine, no shelters, no guarantee of safety, only survival pressure. Every sound in the dark could mean death. Every movement in the grass could be a predator. Now, imagine being born into that world. A human newborn cannot stand, cannot walk, cannot see clearly, cannot regulate temperature, cannot protect itself. Even basic survival functions are incomplete. Now compare this to almost every other species. A horse stands within hours. A deer runs the same day. A giraffe walks immediately after falling from birth height. Even chimpanzees cling tightly to their mothers from the very beginning. But humans are different. We are born in a state of extreme incompleteness. Not just weak, but biologically unfinished. So, why would evolution allow this? To answer that, we must go deeper than survival. We must look at intelligence itself. Brain Part 2, the expanding human brain and its hidden cost. The story begins with one of the most powerful evolutionary events in history, the rapid expansion of the human brain. Early humans were not dominant. They were prey, as much as they were survivors. But over millions of years, the brain began to grow. Not suddenly, but through constant incremental pressure. Each generation slightly more intelligent. This created a major survival advantage. Better memory meant remembering food locations. Better prediction meant avoiding predators. Better planning meant coordinated hunting. But something even more important emerged: the ability to store information outside of individual experience. This means knowledge no longer died with individuals. Fire techniques survived death. Tool-making improved across generations. Social patterns became more complex. This is where humans crossed a threshold, from instinct-driven animals to culture-driven beings. But this evolution had a cost that biology could not avoid. A larger brain requires a larger skull. And a larger skull creates a serious childbirth problem, because at the same time, humans evolved upright walking. This narrowed the pelvis and created a structural conflict inside the body. A bigger brain improves intelligence. A narrower pelvis improves walking efficiency. But both cannot expand without limits. So, evolution hit a hard constraint. And when evolution hits constraints, it does not design perfect solutions. It compromises. Balance Scale Part 3, the biological compromise that shaped humanity. Human babies began to be born earlier, not because they were ready, but because the body could not safely carry them longer. If the brain developed too much inside the womb, birth became dangerous. If the pelvis expanded too much, walking efficiency decreased. So, evolution chose a middle path. Human babies are born before completion, before independence, before survival capability. This is why human infants are so uniquely helpless in nature. Not a flaw, but a forced biological compromise between two competing evolutionary pressures. And this compromise changed everything that came after. Because now survival could no longer depend on one individual. It required something much more complex. Handshake Part 4. The emergence of collective parenting. A mother alone could not survive this system. She had to hunt for food, avoid predators, recover physically, and care for a completely helpless infant, all at the same time. This was not sustainable. So humans evolved a new strategy. They shifted from individual survival to collective survival. Babies were no longer raised by one person. They were raised by a network of caregivers, grandmothers, fathers, siblings, aunts, uncles, and even unrelated group members. This system, known as cooperative breeding, is extremely rare in nature. But in humans, it became the foundation of survival, because the survival of one child directly affected the survival of the entire group. And this is where human evolution becomes fundamentally different from every other species. Brain Part 5. Why human brains are built after birth. Unlike most animals, humans are born with incomplete neurological wiring. The brain is not finished. It is highly plastic, meaning it must be shaped by environment. Language is not instinct. It must be learned through exposure. Emotional understanding is not pre-installed. It develops through interaction. Social behavior is not fixed. It is constructed through observation. This is why human childhood is extremely long compared to any other species. Because the brain is not just growing, it is building itself in real time. Every interaction becomes neural structure. Every experience becomes memory architecture. Every relationship reshapes identity. Humans are not born finished. They are formed through time. Globe with Meridians Part 6. Cultural Evolution. The second system. This creates something unique in nature. A second evolutionary system. Biological evolution is slow, but cultural evolution is extremely fast. Fire improves across generations. Tools evolve continuously. Language becomes more complex. Knowledge accumulates instead of resetting. This means human intelligence is not confined to the brain of a single individual. It is distributed across generations. This is why human progress is exponential rather than linear. Each generation inherits not just genes, but knowledge, skills, and accumulated intelligence. This is something no other species has achieved at this scale. Broken Heart Part 7. The modern mismatch problem. But this system also created an unexpected problem. The human brain is still ancient. For hundreds of thousands of years, survival depended entirely on social connection. Being isolated meant danger. No protection. No food sharing. No survival support. So the brain evolved to treat isolation as a threat signal. Modern neuroscience confirms this. Social rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. This means your brain does not distinguish between emotional loss and physical danger, because in the environment it evolved in, they were the same thing. Warning Part 8. Why modern life feels unnatural. Today, humans live in a completely different world. We can survive alone. We can work alone. We can live without tribes. We can go days without real human interaction. But our brain has not adapted. It still expects constant connection, shared living, group survival. This mismatch creates modern psychological stress, not because humans are weak, but because evolution is slow, and civilization changed too fast. Direct hit Final part, the core truth. So, when we look at human evolution, clearly, one truth becomes unavoidable. Humans did not dominate Earth because they were the strongest, or the fastest, or even the smartest. They dominated because they became the most cooperative species in history. A larger brain created vulnerability. Vulnerability created dependence. Dependence created cooperation. Cooperation created culture. And culture created civilization. And it all begins with one simple biological fact. Human babies are born too early. And that vulnerability became the foundation of everything we are today. Bell outro. If this changed the way you think about human evolution, you are only seeing the surface. There are many hidden trade-offs inside the human body and mind that most people never think about. If you want more deep documentaries like this, consider subscribing. And I want to ask you something. Backhand index pointing right, do you think humans are shaped more by biology or by culture? Write your answer in the comments. I read every one, and I reply to the most interesting ones.